Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Home Staging Talk Show Live. I'm Jenny Norris, your host, and I'm the chairwoman of the International Association of Home Staging Professionals. So welcome. It's 2020, a new decade, a new year. And we didn't do our show last week because it was on, I think it was on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. Let's see. What day is it? It was on the 1st, New Year's Day. So haven't talked to you all since before Christmas. I hope you all had a great holiday season and anything you celebrate, if you celebrated Hanukkah or Christmas or any of the other holidays, Kwanzaa, whatever, that you had a great season. And it just seems like we're barreling into 2020. And so we have a lot of really great announcements we've been kind of storing up for you. We've got a great show today as well. So thank you all for joining me. And so, hopefully you had a good wrap up of your year. I'm going to throw something up here. Let me find my here it is, this graphic. So this is something that we do every year at the end of the year. So I'll go back and I count my numbers for my staging company. And this is not to toot my horn, it's just to show you an example. So we're actually in the throes of doing a survey, which we'll talk about for statistics for the staging industry. And in that survey, it's asking people about things for their business, like how many projects do you do a year? And when you stage a property, how long does it take to go under contract, and so forth. And a significant amount, about 20% of the respondents are saying, I don't know. And so we're in an industry where your numbers matter. And so I'm going to encourage you to set a goal this year to track your numbers. And so all of us need to know, how many staging projects do we do annually? Of those, how many are vacant properties? How many are occupied? Consultations, staging consultations, how many were hands-on stagings? How many appointments did you have? You got to know your close rate. So for example, if you go to, 250 appointments and you have 125 staging projects, that means your close rate was 50%. And so maybe then you set a goal to increase that close rate so it's higher. But we can't ignore the numbers and just operate our businesses without knowing how we're doing. And so the beginning or end of the year is usually a really great time to go and assess. And so I know that we did 275 vacant projects, 95 consultations. We did 245 D stages, an estimated 110 million in real estate that we staged, with the average days on market to go under contract at 19.7 for 2019. So I'm going to be sharing that in my marketing pieces and in my proposals. That information is in there because people want to know, what can they expect with staging? How do I track that? Well, I don't have, a lot of you guys know I wear a lot of different hats. So I run Sensational Home Staging, the business side, and then you can see the team here that does the creative and helps make the houses look fabulous. I run the association, and I also run Staged Homes, which is a training company. And so I don't have a lot of time to be all into the details and analyzing things. I don't really enjoy that anyway. But what I do use are apps. So I'm going to share one with you. I talked about this before. Let me get a good reflection on this. Let's see. Okay, so this is Google Calendar. Can you guys see that? Let's see. Do that. It's kind of reflecting weird. Google Calendar, and you can see I've got different colors on my calendar. And so for my business, reds represent previews, oranges represent D stages, purples are installs, yellows are other appointments. And so at a glance, and let's see, D stages are orange. Let's see, staging, and then consultations are turquoise. Okay, so at a glance, I can go back to my whole year, starting all the way back in, 2019. I can take a look at any week. Like here's August 18th week. Let me see. Get this camera. Why is this not working right? Okay, there we go. And it's so you can see we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 12 installs. We had 2 D stages. We had no consultations, and then the purples are other appointments and stuff. So I just quickly go and I add up all the purples, and I add up all the oranges, and I add up all the reds, and I add up all the turquoises, and that's how I know my numbers very quickly. And I started doing this a few years ago. Has saved my life. So there's a lot of ways to shortcut having to go back and count things up, or looking at emails or what have you. Use the apps that are out there, but you have to know your numbers. Because if you don't know your numbers, how do you know how successful you are or are not for your business? And how do you set new goals? How do you say, I want to increase my close rate when you don't even know what your close rate is? And listen, all of us need to be asking our agents, when did the house go under contract? Did it sell at list price? Did it sell for higher? Just write to the agent and ask them. As soon as they notify you to pick up your stuff, ask them what the situation is. Hey, did they got an offer? How quickly did they get an offer? And then once the house closes, you can get that information. You can also use things online like Redfin. You can favorite all of your, and it's free. You can favorite all of your staged properties. When there's a change in the status of that property, you get a notification. So when it goes under contract, or if the price reduces or what have you, you get a notification, and then you got to keep track of that. So we're beyond an age where people can say, I don't know. To me, that just means you don't want to take the time to know. And to me, it hurts your business and it hurts your ability to grow. So make that a goal for 2020. If you haven't done that before, now start keeping track of that, and furthermore, it really helps the industry to know what your numbers are. Because when we're asking for statistics, and that's a big key part, is did it sell for more? We need to know that number, because then we're sharing that information with our future clients and the industry in general, so that we can say, yeah, staged properties sell for this percent over list, or this much quicker than the average days on market for property. Hey, Jill, you found us. We had some technical challenges this morning. Big surprise, big surprise. Okay. So I mentioned the statistics, and so this has gone out. It's on our sites. We send it out via email. I would love for us to have a huge sampling survey of this, but it's staging industry statistics, and so it tracks everything from your business to types of projects you do. If you do vacants, what types, regular versus luxury, and the details surrounding that. So then we'll be able to compile this information and share it with our industry, and also the industries that want to use us. So the real estate industry, let's get away from having them tell us that an average staging is $500. They send their survey out and they put it out every 2 years. NAR does. Where did they get that number? Because that's not realistic for any kind of a property that's vacant. That maybe could do a consultation, maybe a quick hands-on or what have you, but not for a vacant. So we want to be in charge of sending the statistics that we get together that are legitimate and send those to these entities. So thank you to those of you that have already done that for us. We really appreciate it. And the survey is out there. We'll continue to post it until we get a certain sampling number, and then we'll start compiling all the data, which is great. Okay, let's see here. I'm way down here. Here's my little slide thing. Come on, get over here. Okay. All right. So we are. I'm just going to put this up here. I guess I won't. When we lost our cat, Oliver, I was sharing. I'm just going to put this little picture up there. Right before Christmas, and so I shared on Facebook that I pretty much cried my way into Christmas. He died on the 21st. He was only 4, so we miss him. And I shared yesterday on social media. A lot of people, we try to set goals and kind of look back about what went well, what was good about 2019 or even the last decade. A lot of people are putting that 10-year challenge on. So what happened in the last decade? And so I shared that, well, we moved from California to Colorado. I had to start over my staging company. So my husband and I made a choice to move our family out here. We didn't know anybody. So I just started from scratch again, like I did in Sacramento. I didn't know anybody when I started staging there. I didn't know any realtors. And so same thing here. And so that was 10 years ago in late 2009, we moved out here. So it's been a lot of really great stories and challenges we've overcome. A lot of really good things have come out of that. And then, of course, just like everybody else, we all have challenges. So whether it's, financial or with your family, your children, your significant others, other extended family, we all have challenges. And so what I've shared with 2019 for me, the losses outweighed the good, even though there was a lot of really good things that happened in 19. But it was the year that I lost my father, and my father-in-law died, and I'm coming up on the 1-year anniversary of my dad's death on the 21st. So that's, I can't believe it's been almost a year. So both of us lost our dads. Our children lost both grandfathers, and then, had a lot of really great things happening, and had some challenges that we were really proud that we rose to the occasion within Staged Homes and IAHSP, and keeping things growing as far as a business transition from the former to the now. and lots of relationships, and then the cat died. And so it's sort of like I'm happy about 2020. I'm optimistic. I hope you all are as well. I know there's a lot of things happening in the world that we probably wouldn't choose to have happen, and we sort of feel like we don't control that, right? So I'm not a person that puts my head in the sand and lives in fear, because I'm not the one controlling that. I can choose what I can choose to do or not do in relation to what's happening, and so what I can do is pray and pray for protection for our troops, and that none of us want to have a war. And I've got 3 boys that are of age if they ever decided to enact a draft. Believe me, that would impact my family greatly, just like a lot of you. So. But that doesn't stop us from doing business, which is sort of weird. So the whole world doesn't come to a screeching halt. And of course, Australia with all the fires, there's just a lot of stuff happening. So they say a lot of people worry, and 92% of what we worry about doesn't even happen. 92%. And because a lot of the things that are out there we can be concerned about, there might even be ways we can take action, of course. But worrying about stuff doesn't solve anything, and all it does is lead to inaction for ourselves. We freeze. We become like so stressed about it that we're not able to do anything. And so I'm just going to encourage all of us. We're in an industry where we're helping people. It's an industry where we make things nicer. So there's a lot of positive about what we do. And I don't mean to just dismiss or minimize what's happening globally, but I know that there's very little that I can do about it personally, like right in this moment. So choose to stay focused, forward focused, and positive, and pray and hope for the best. So we are 21 years old today, which is really exciting. 21. So IAHSP is actually celebrating its 21st anniversary. So they got started in 1999, believe it or not. And so 21 years ago, the first trade association for the industry was birthed, and founded with the word international because we are international. And so the founder of IAHSP, Barb Schwartz, had the foresight to name it IAHSP International, not just national. And so we have added countries. Over the break, we added Russia, and we have our first members in Russia, which is very exciting. Australia, we added them, and with people asking us to launch these countries. And so that is a country that's now has a country chapter in Australia with IAHSP. So I'm excited about that. So now we are there's 7 continents. I believe we're in 6 of the 7 continents right now. That's pretty impressive. And I believe over 20 countries. So happy birthday. Happy birthday. So we do have some celebrations happening. So you can look for those. It's a celebration to celebrate our 21st anniversary. And so look for those coming out in social media, just little savings, here and there to save off of some of our education and so forth. So that's very exciting for us. And we want to be celebrating. Probably throughout the year, we'll be offering specials to our members and to the industry at large, because a lot of you I know are interested in joining IAHSP. What are we all about? I encourage you to go to our website to read up on who we are and what type of association we are, and why it's important to be part of an association. All right, and with that, happy anniversary. Thanks, Jennifer. Hi, Keely. Hi, Lindsay. Hey, Catherine. And Catherine's in Canada. She is our Canada chapter president. We love her. And so anybody in Canada who wants to be part of an association, please let us know. We'll get you connected with Catherine. They're doing a virtual chapter meeting, and then like a lot of locations, it can be challenging for people to get around. So when you do a virtual meeting, you can see everybody, but you don't have to get in your car and drive. And then having the opportunity to maybe attend a special event or something where you can see each other, that can be scheduled in the year too. But I just find even in my own area here, Denver, it became very challenging to get people to gather that it was convenient for everybody, and everybody had to drive. It's not like I did it at my house. And so, I had to drive to get to the location as well. So maybe having virtual meetings is a way to go, and then having times for events later on. This is our newest rollout offering. It's called Lead Your Market. And lead, of course, looking there, says learn, elevate, analyze, dominate. This is part of our fast track series that I created about 2 or 3 years ago. And so this came to me as far as creating these workshops. These are one-day workshops. We're coming to you. We're going to come around to different cities in the US and in Canada, and be able to present these different topics: pricing and profitability, business logistics and operations, team building and delegating, marketing, social media, and apps, and then finances, planning, and positioning for your market. And so we're going to have experts sharing in all these different locations. Some will travel to teach, and then others will identify from that particular market that are specialists in these topics and share, because there seems to be a gap between when a stager gets started and they have their basic staging training that gets them going. And some people are, better marketers than others. Some people have run a business before, so they get off to a faster start. And then others, they can struggle. And so you get your business growing, and then you have some success. And then there seems to be a point that we all hit that, like, well, now what do I do? And to get you into that next level, if that's what you're looking for. And so this is sort of the stopgap between beginner to advanced staging training. So advanced stager training, we usually teach at our conference. It's a 2-day intensive workshop. And this will sort of be a precursor to that. This is not based on income. So whereas the advanced stager training, you have to have 6 figures or above in order to attend, because a lot of the issues those larger businesses deal with, are things that somebody that's in this middle of the area isn't there yet, so it wouldn't make sense. So 6 figures or above, and then you can do the advanced stager training. So this is not based on your revenue for your company. In fact, you could be new and want to do this, and this is fine. So the first workshop is going to be in Denver on February 13th. Now, this is open to everybody. This is open to every single stager out there. If you're watching or somebody shares this with you, everybody gets to attend. It's not specific to an association or, as I said, an income level or even your education. So anybody can attend. We're going to do Denver first because that's where I live, and it's going to be my guinea pig. But we have about 16 different cities identified. So I actually had my agenda here. Let's see if it pulled in. Let's see. Here it is. I'm going to hopefully show this. Does that go anywhere? Show. Oh, there we go. Well, it doesn't really help you guys. It's kind of a long domain. Okay, let me get rid of that. Let me do this one. Well, so I'll copy or Lindsay, I don't know if you guys can get in there and copy and paste the link for the Fast Lead workshop. We have a landing page on our IAHSP site, and in there's actually a survey that asks you a series of questions. And one of the key things in there is, where do you live? Because that's going to tell me where to schedule these. So I know we're doing Denver. Amy Powers is scheduling one in Atlanta for the first part of March. I believe it's March. I want to say it's March 3rd. That's our target. So those of you in Atlanta, I know that date has been, actually it's not. I think is it the 3rd? See, I don't even know. I know it's that week it's the week of March 2nd. So we either set it for the 3rd or the 5th. And I want to say it's the 5th because we're trying to do these on a Thursday. But regardless, it is happening in Atlanta. Boston, I'm scheduled to teach in there in April, the first week in April. So that's the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. So we would do this on the 10th, which is a Friday in the Boston area. So I know those dates based on different schedules and so forth. And then we have a lot of interest from a lot of different areas. And so right now we're identifying location, actually physical places to hold these. But you'll be able to help us by telling us where you want us to come. And so those of you that have already filled out the survey, I appreciate it. We want to do, yes, Joe, we want to do them in Canada. So Catherine, I need to talk with you about that. I'm going to say that we should do one on the east and one on the west. So Toronto, maybe Vancouver, maybe one in the middle. So we'll talk about that. And those of you that are in those regions, if you're a business coach or you're a social media expert and you'd like to come and share with the group, this could be 10 people, it could be 80 people. We don't know. It's an opportunity to share what they need to know works. And this is not a replacement for conferences, of course. It's just to help people grow their business, because waiting a whole year to learn something, that's a long time to wait. And furthermore, it could help push you into the advanced category. So that's why we're doing these, because education matters. Hey, Kevin. So, all right. So I talked about statistics already. So I'm going to get rid of this. And all right, and so then a lot to cover. So let's talk about this really fast. I'm just going to touch on the PSPMO. We are filing the articles of incorporation. We continue to have conversations with all of the associations. At this point, we're still, it's an HSRA and IAHSP pushing forward initiative to get this organization going. And those of you that might have missed the session I did with Jana, it was December, I want to say it was the 11th, the session on the 11th. Go watch that Home Staging Talk Show live, because in that session, she and I talk about the professional stager and property marketer organization, and why this is going on, and why this is being formed, and why it's important. And it doesn't replace associations. It's to support our industry and provide a unity for the industry that brings all three associations together and allows the members within the industry to have a voice that's going to be representative of everybody. That's the goal, because no one association represents everybody. IAHSP doesn't, RISA doesn't, HSRA doesn't. They represent the members that have paid to be part of that. And just like NAR does represent every realtor, because a realtor has to be part of NAR, and that's a requirement. So NAR encompasses every single realtor out there, but it doesn't encompass every real estate agent, right? So there's definitions of what we're looking for as far as the ability to join the PSPMO, and it is moving forward. We're excited about that, and so my goal was to have it launched officially by the 1st, and so we'll be closer to probably middle of the month to get all the paperwork. It was holiday time, people had the flu, so it's just been a little bit delayed, but it is moving forward. So we are, oh no, you like my cozy cat? I'm gonna wear this. So this is actually a vest. Cat said she likes my cozy. And it's gonna be -3 up in the mountains the next couple of days. Yeah, I do feel warm and fuzzy with my fur on. Okay, and I think that is almost everything. Oh, we just talk about our conference really fast. Let me just give a plug here. Of course, our 2020 IAHSP conference, Vision for Success, Focus, Clarity, Future. That's kind of our theme for all year long. And we, of course, have Denver in September, and we have Portugal in May. So Portugal, isn't that a beautiful? This one, I look at this. This looks like the Golden Gate Bridge to me. Over San Francisco, this looks like it's a bit shorter, but I think it's always amazing they can build these bridges over water. That whole engineering stuff just fascinates me. But anyhow, Portugal looks gorgeous. May 23rd is the Portugal conference. They are going to be announcing their speakers. We have them almost all confirmed coming up shortly, and it's going to be focused on the topics. So focus, clarity, future, success, and vision. Those are the 5 topics that are being covered in Portugal. And then on the 24th, I'll be teaching the consultation course. So communication and consultation for stagers that do not currently do that or want to refine their business practice related to doing consultations, which are very prevalent here in the US, North America, and so forth, not so much in Europe. So we're going to teach them why they need to be doing these and how it's great money to add to their business services. And so that'll be May 23rd and 24th. Very excited. I know I know that they're really excited about having a lot of US and North America people, people from all over the world attend. Of course, Denver, excuse me, 25th, 26th, 27th in Denver. We are working on the schedule. So tomorrow I get to pick up our leadership team. That's the other thing too. I want to give a shout out to Jana Elselton, HSRA, because of course we are, they're a sister association, but more than that, they're a resource for IAHSP members to be able to plug into for more advanced education and so forth. And one of the things that she has done a great job on is teams, having team meetings and getting your team together. And there's a lot of photographs and things of people that are implementing that. And so it is important that if you do have a staging team now or in the future, that you do get people together. And I have not been very good about that on my staging side. Just the days, days roll into weeks, roll into months, roll into quarters, roll into year. And so, but that's one of my goals for this year. We have our warehouse now. We have a design center with a table and chairs in the back. So I have a place that we can gather. That was probably one of the biggest things. I didn't have a place to meet. Could have done Starbucks, of course. But it's important to get people together so we're all on the same page. So today I'm meeting with a stager who took a class here in Denver with me. She wants to join the team. The logistics warehouse person, I have 2 people that I'm identifying to handle that, and the movers. So the team is really coming together. So gather together. So on the IAHSP side, our leadership team, we're picking them up tomorrow, and we're going to go to the mountains and have a leadership retreat. We're going to plan everything out for 2020 in the details, because we have a lot already in the works. But one of those will be the conference schedule and speakers and so forth. So we have keynote speakers we've already identified. We won't release those until middle of January, end of January, when we sign paperwork. But I'm really, really excited about who has approached us and who we found to bring to you for education, motivation, inspiration. And then, of course, we're going to put out the topics that we want to hear about, and there'll be an official call for speakers. So I put out a funny video on this, and I wanted to play it, but it was too long to put in here. the file size is too big. So, and I'm afraid I can actually go to my computer, but I'm afraid to do that right now because I don't want to lose my link here. But anyhow, we will put out a call for speakers. Go find the video. It's kind of funny, and it's basically we want this, not that. You know, be like Steve Jobs, not Steve Carell, who was doing that funny thing in Bruce Almighty. So it's a funny video. But anyhow, the call for speakers will go out on the 17th, and we're going to identify the topics that we want to hear about at conference. So there'll be fewer speakers. I already know that. Sessions may be a little bit longer for the more developed topics. We will have breakout sessions, and then we're moving our dinner and so forth, the awards. We're going to do things a little bit differently. So we'll iron all this out, and then we're going to release all the details after our leadership meeting. So you're thinking about us up in Breckenridge. We have our little cabin up there, and everybody's going to be joining us there, and we'll be warm and cozy. Now, Tier 1 tickets are on sale. We still have some priority tickets. If you guys saw, we're on our dinner is going to be a 2020 Roaring 2020, which I don't have the theme up here. Roaring 2020. So first we're going to do a different thing, which I'm going to save for another year. And then it's 2020. And so there's a lot of people who are doing 2020 New Year's parties. So I didn't come up with this idea, but I think it's a great one to have, because when are we going to do this again? It'll be 100 years before we could do a 20s party again. So that's the impetus. So Roaring 2020s is the theme, and it's going to be just a fun celebration of our industry. We have a speakeasy that will have an exclusive little area for the priority ticket holders. So priority ticket holders are VIPs, just renamed you. There's no VIP ticket holders anymore. It's priority. So those are the ones that have come in first. You've got your ticket already. We still have some spots left for that. You'll get priority seating at the event, in the front. You'll get the speakeasy, and then any speakers where we do have meet and greets and so forth, you will be the first in line. And this time we'll make sure that the back rows don't just race to the line. We'll make sure that all the VIPs or the priority people get in line first, because that's what it's all about. So if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, we still have the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 plan option. So you can make payments on that. So there's lots of ways you can get to the conference. Just get there. Of course, we'll be sharing more about that coming up. That is everything I have. It was a lot. And today is Stager Wednesday, so raise the standard, hashtag Stager Wednesday, hashtag raise the standard. So hashtag that out today, and we'll get that is a trend, would be good. Oh, Kathleen, Kat, so the video is on all the different social media pages. So I know I put out a lot of them the last week or so. Yes, you could be an early bird when you do the payment plan, Jill. So yes, that is, you can be a priority ticket holder when you buy your ticket. All right, I'm going to go and bring our first guest in. So I have Jennifer from Sagebrook. So here we go. Give you a countdown. There she is. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you for being on. And so for people who don't know who you are, who Sagebrook is, let them know.
Well, we are a home decor and accessory company based out of California. We're about 4 years old, but have exploded into the home decor industry like crazy and have grown. We've got showrooms in all the major markets, and we're excited to be part of IAHSP. It's been a delight to meet all these great stagers at your last convention there in Nashville. Had a lot of fun. So yeah, good. We're excited.
So Sagebrook, so I've had the opportunity to go to Vegas Market and High Point in Atlanta. Right. You guys display in most of the major markets, and beautiful, beautiful items. So talk a little bit about what your specialties are. I know the accessory pieces. From a little bit, just let people know from the smallest item to the largest item that you carry.
Yep. So we, again, carry primarily, I'm going to flip. Tell me if this works, Jenny, or not. This is that's our website. Can you see that?
Yes, we can. That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought I'd put the website up. So that shows you kind of just real quick, and it'll scroll through different things. But basically, we carry tabletop accessories starting from, I think our least expensive is probably $4, up to maybe $200 for some large sculptural pieces. We do wall decor. So we do mirrors. We do three-dimensional wall art. So we do shelves, wall shelves. So we do a lot of wall decor. And we do accent furniture. So we do console tables, little side tables. We do a few couches and chairs, but that's really not kind of who we are. We're more about the accent pieces and accessories. We've got about 8,000 SKUs in our line. I mean, we are a major player in the marketplace, and our prices are really some of the best you'll find in the market. So I love working for Sagebrook. I think you could probably tell. They're a great company. And again, we're all about offering good value and good pricing and on trend product. So we introduce about 800 to 1,000 items every 6 months, just so people are aware. We don't have a stagnant line. Our line turns all the time. We're just always bringing in fun, new, trendy product.
So people are asking, do you ship to Canada?
Yes. So we do ship to Canada, and our minimums are we ship out of California. That's where our warehouse is, basically in LA. If you're a stager and you're in LA, you can pick up at our warehouse and there is no minimum. So yay for those LA people, because they can order one lamp and go pick it up if they want to. But otherwise, we ship from LA, and we ship. Our minimum to Canada is higher. It's $1,500, because it doesn't make sense to ship really anything less than that to Canada, just for freight cost purposes. But normally I'm going to flip this back over. Normally, our other minimum within the US is $750. So you've got to put a $750 order together. We find that stagers go together to do that sometimes. So if you're a smaller stager and you want to put your toe in the water, you're not quite ready to do a whole order for get with a friend, get with another
Right.
stager, and you guys share product and just get it in and get it at wholesale pricing. So
That's a
that's the
great idea.
minimum.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
suggest it, because whether it's through a chapter or just colleagues in your area, because you also
Yes.
have a lot of things that are cases, because you don't
Correct.
break case. So
Correct.
let's say it's a case of 6 or a case of 12. I mean, I don't want 12 of the
Right.
same decorative items. So maybe I go in with 3 or 4, we each get 3, or 2 or 3 of the same, but you can do it that way as well. So there's
Right.
no reason why you don't
Yeah. Oh, I
to
think.
work on a lot of different properties. And I
Yeah.
love, you guys tend to be a really good predictor of trends as well as far as colors.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So
I,
for instance, I just got back from LA. I had some customers come in early before market in January, because I'm leaving Saturday for Atlanta. So I got to see what's coming, and I am so excited. I mean, it is so much fun. So what we're seeing and what we're
not
bringing to
frozen on your
market
guys'
is
head.
is going to be, that whole macrame and woven textures are hot. And so we're bringing in all kinds of raffia mirrors,
Neat.
planters, baskets, things again that are woven and have texture to them. We're still doing a lot of monochrome, beiges, creams, whites. We've gone, for us, we see metallics going more matte as opposed to shiny. So more matte gold and flat silvers and things like that. Try to think what else. Black is good, flat black, flat whites. We always have a lot of blue and green in our line. Um, we're doing a lot of product from India. So we've got a lot of cast metal pieces that are just fabulous and amazing. And again, I think with Sagebrook, you get a lot of look for the money compared to some of our competitors that,
Right.
would maybe charge 5 times as much. You really get a similar look for a lot less. And just to talk about pricing, can I do that real
Yeah,
quick,
your pricing,
Jenny? Okay.
absolutely.
So, like you mentioned, we offer a really good price, and it's based on buying a case pack of a product from the factories. Will pack it to be the most efficient to ship from China or India. So they'll typically put 2 or 4 or 6 in a case, and that's if you buy the full case, that's going to be your best price. We do allow. You to split the case. Anytime it's 4 or more, you can split it. So if there's
Okay.
4 in a case, you can buy 2. The price goes up a little bit because we got to touch the case. We also just introduced designer pricing. I don't think I've talked to you about it yet, Jenny, but we are allowing now people to buy one piece designers. You got to be a business.
Yeah.
Yep, one piece. Now the price, I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't pay the designer price, but it's still it's still better, right, as a wholesale thing, but it's a significantly higher price. But you can buy one piece of something, be it a lamp or whatever, and we'll ship it. We'll drop ship it. So it's got to be, we'll overpack it, because the packaging it comes in isn't intended to be drop shipped, but we overpack it and we'll ship it, and we charge a flat 35% for shipping on designer items. So basically the bottom line is, if you want to buy less than $750 from Sagebrook, you can do that, and you pay the designer price and you pay 35% for freight. So it's not cheap, but again,
But
it's
there's
an
at least
option.
it's an option.
Yes,
So people,
absolutely.
yeah, so they really don't want it. Yeah, so they, if you really need one thing. So what about the turnaround time? So let's just talk about people. Obviously,
Yep.
everybody in LA, you must have, they have the ability. There's lots of these companies that are in Los Angeles, Southern California, and then
Yes.
I'm jealous. I keep saying I'm going to get a product truck. I'm going to come out there. I'm going to load
Yes.
it up.
Yes.
But
Um,
shipping from California to where I am in Denver, and then other parts. How long does it take to get across the country typically?
again, we use obviously different carriers and it varies, but it takes us about, I would say, 2 to 4 days to process an order. So from the time you send us the order and we have it packed and ready to ship is about 2 to 4 days. If it's going to go to the East Coast, obviously that's the farthest. If it's going to Massachusetts or New Jersey, I would say probably 7 to 10 days. And I'm just being realistic. It may get there a little sooner, but that's typically how long it takes the freight companies to get it through to their terminals and get it on to you. So that's pretty typical. Now, again, if you have a project you're working on and you have to have it by a deadline, please email me because I can help with that whole process and make sure that we rush it through the warehouse, and I make sure that they know it's got to be delivered by a certain date so that we can notify the carrier. So if you just place a regular order, it'll get there when it gets there. I mean, within a
Right.
reasonable time. So just if again it's urgent, and I have that happen all the time, just let me know and people are happy. We typically don't disappoint. So
And it's funny because so I did a proposal on a house before Christmas, probably
yeah.
week in December, and so they just wrote to me yesterday, the day before, like, okay, we're ready to move forward. We want to get it done as soon as possible. Well, it's like a $2.7 million house, and so I'm going to source things for that. So I'm like, okay, well,
Right.
you got to sign the agreement, you got to pay me, and then I'm going
Yeah.
to start lining things up. So I know in my mind, I'm thinking like at least a week to get everything gathered, as far as
Yep.
shipping
An
and
order. Yeah.
so yeah, so it'll be good though. I'm
I would
excited.
say a couple weeks. If you're in California or let's say Texas West, I would say we could probably, if you give us an order, we could possibly get it to you within a week and a half maybe. But I would say 2 weeks is just a safe, again, just call me and say, look, I've got this project. Can you get something to me in time? And I'll just say yes or no. We don't want to overpromise and underdeliver.
Right.
That doesn't help anybody. Let me show you one other thing real quick, if I
Sure.
could, Jenny. I'm going to flip back over again to my life. This is a US, and so this is how we charge for freight. Can you see that pretty well? It's on our website.
Yes.
So we charge flat freight rates depending on where you're located.
Okay, cool.
Since we ship out of California, which is blue, if you're in California and we ship to you, it's always 12%. If you're in Washington, Oregon, and that orange part, it's always 15%. Florida is going to be 19%. So again, if you're in Florida and you order $1,000, it's $190 to ship it. I don't think that's
Nothing.
unreasonable at all. And the East Coast is our highest. It's 20%, the yellow. What we also do is if you order $2,000 or more, I'm going to flip it back. We offer a flat 15%. So, we know if we get a bigger order, then the freight costs will come down. So we're willing to go ahead and pass that on. So those are the freight rates for the minimum order of $750. And if you order $2,000 or more, it drops to 15%. So for the East Coast and the Southeast, that's really helpful.
So one of the things I want to we're working with our vendors on, and I don't know if Krista she and I are talking about this, to kind of make it easier for stagers to order. When you say you have 8,000 SKUs, and a lot of these
Yes.
you have so many, I mean, it's like I want everything.
Right.
I want this, I want that. So to be able to kind of curate
Ah,
a line that is, whether it's by color or by price or whatever it is, or something like here's a house package for this would
yes.
be, three rooms or 5 rooms. It would count the copy end tables, the lamps. This is a package for a living room. This is a family room. This would be a bedroom. And be able to kind of come up with something so that I can go push a button. I want to order all these things that comes to me, and it's not so memorable. If that's the right word. That it becomes like cookie cutter. That we all, because we're all pushing the button. We all have the same
Yes,
work.
yes,
We could come up
yes.
with that. And I want to work with you on that.
Okay.
Help identify that. Now, I'm not going to be in Vegas because I'll be at Inman in New York, but Krista will be there as well.
Ah,
Kevin's going to be there, some other people. And
right.
I don't know if I should get a catalog or just go online and start pulling some things, but we want to work on that. So it could be I'd like to see it by color and also by price maybe or style.
I'm
And
going to
so
show you something, if I could, not to interrupt, but here's here's the website. It's pretty amazing. Like I said, we're only 4 years old. It's incredible what we've done. So this is, again, the main landing page. If you go to the shop tab up here, it shows you all the categories we have. Can you see that? Decorative
yeah,
accessories, vases. So you can search by that. Let's go under decorative accessories. We break out into like decorative sculptures and figures. So I'm going to click on that real quick. And then if you scroll down, there's a section here where you can filter. So you can filter by color. So let's say I'm working on a project and I need gold. Then it'll pull all the gold items that have gold in that category for you. I'll be honest, it might miss a couple of things, but if you're in a hurry, this is a
right.
quick, easy way. You can pick by material. So if you know you want glass
Ceramic
or
or, yeah.
crystal, yep. And you
Mhm.
could pick by trend. I haven't even looked at this because this website just is new
Oh
for
yeah, the
us.
trends.
So we
That's
do have
excellent.
I
I'm
haven't
holding
looked
it
at this, so
down.
I'm not sure what that looks like or how good that is, but we do have the trend area. So it's really great. You can also sort by price. So if you did want to do under a minimum and a max price that you were looking for, you can do that. So our
Okay.
website has some really great abilities for the stagers to narrow things down quickly there. And again, like I said, I'll be happy to work with you on it too, Jenny, and pull together some collections for different parts of the U.S. You know, we've got more glammy looks or more traditional looks or more
Right.
Southwest looks. I mean, we really cover all lifestyles, which makes it great as a rep because we've got something for everybody, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do. It's going to be awesome. So I know I'll see you guys hopefully in April
Yeah.
in High Point, and then for sure in Vegas in July. And of
Well,
course,
the other thing is, Krista told me that she's got a group coming to Vegas. So if
yes.
anybody hasn't signed up for that and you still have open spaces, we're going to
Yeah,
be
yeah. So the wholesale, thank
hosting.
you. I should have had that market thing on there. So the wholesale market tour
Yep.
is January 27th, which I believe is Sunday. Or let me look. Where am I in here?
And we're hosting hot cocktails at the end of the
You
tour.
are. We're very excited.
We are, yeah, and we have
So it's a
great.
Monday.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
27th is Monday. Market opens, starts on that, Saturday, Sunday it kicks off. So we wanted to do ours early enough so you still have a couple days to shop once you
Perfect.
tour and learn about the different vendors that we offer. So the wholesale market tour, shopwholesalemarket.com is the website, shopwholesalemarket.com. It's only $300. And that helps to pay for our time to pull everything together and coordinate and put a really nice booklet together for you. And so, but it's not just like running around the market. You're actually going to meet our key vendors. You're going to learn how to open up accounts, how to shop, but you get to see and touch and feel the products. So if you're attending Vegas market or thinking about going there, it's a great market. I really like it. Of the ones I've been to, so the only one I haven't been to is Dallas. I like Vegas because it's more consolidated. High Point is very spread out and it's massive. So that's kind of cool to go see all the things there. Atlanta was nice too. It's a smaller, more controlled environment as well. So if you make a trip to Vegas, jump on a plane. The flights right now are inexpensive. The hotels, they don't totally gouge you on the hotels like other locations. At
Yeah.
that point, my God, that they're charging an arm and a leg for dumps because they know that's like twice a year they get to charge like really strong high prices. But
Yeah.
Vegas is very reasonable. You can find specials. And so shopwholesalemarket.com. Again, $300. There's other tours that are out there. Ours is a much better deal. And we also have the largest vendor program through IAHSP of any other association. So, being able to get the discounts that we're offering, because we're large in numbers, you can't get these on your own just walking into one of these showrooms, even if you're a designer. So know that we've negotiated things that are better for our members, and would love to have you join us. So we're excited.
And
Any
again,
last?
I just want to say if they're new to the industry and they haven't been to a market before, it's worth the $300. It's going to save you so much time and money because you're so limited on time at these shows and you've got to be
Yeah,
efficient in how you work the buildings and flow your schedule. And I'm sure that's what you're going to be training them and
yep,
showing them and telling them how to do it. So it's
yep.
$300 very well spent, I'm sure.
It's a great investment for your even if you're not ready to totally start buying. The thing is, as a stager, is if anybody watching, if you're like me, it's like, oh my gosh, I need whatever it is, and you have a staging in 2 days, you can't get things shipped fast enough. So you do have to plan ahead. You have to set money aside, think about how you want your inventory to evolve this year. And what's really cool, as I said a little bit earlier, is the market is the predictor. So when you go to market, you'll see colors that are there that may not be in the stores yet. They were the first predictors of the gold trend coming back, the emerald greens that we're seeing. Of course, that blue is still really popular. Oranges, I'm seeing a lot of orange, and again, the jade. So they're oftentimes the first predictors of what's coming. And so you can be ahead of the game versus running to Home Goods or TJ Maxx and buying what everybody else is buying. And I'm just going to use an example. I love Pier 1. Who does that? You walk in there and it's like, it's like shopping mecca. Those just, I'm using those balls that are like $15, the little glass decorative balls. They're like $2.50 wholesale. So, you can make your money just as a little example. You can stretch your dollars. So, I know shopping locally can be convenient, but you'd save a whole lot more shopping
Oh
wholesale.
my
And
gosh.
you get into the bigger things like lamps, for example. I mean, I can't believe how expensive some lamps are online or even in stores. So I have these lamps I ordered wholesale and I love them, but I'm like, I never got out to the show yet because I'm afraid my team's going to break them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're the glass, they're really, really pretty. So I'll probably use them in this big project. But things like that, you can save money, and then you'll be able to put more. Your dollar goes farther when you're getting 20 to 60% off of regular price. That's significant. So
Right.
find ways to purchase for your business. Plan ahead, and then go to our. If you're not a member of IHOSP, you can join. You'd be part of the largest wholesale buying program out there. So you can go to IHOSPW. BP.com, IAHSPWBP.com. You can learn about our wholesale buying program. There's power in numbers. And so, whether you ever attended a chapter meeting, and we hope you do get plugged in, if that's the only thing you use that for is to be able to save money on things you need for your business, it's well worth it. The membership's $195 for the year. So, but check that out and then come to Vegas. It's just a really fun, good energy. It's not blazing hot. It's not 116. And so it'll be a fun time. And Kevin Tane will be doing some education for us there. So he'll be speaking to designers who want to get into staging. So we've lined that up, and he's perfect for that. Normally I do that talk, but that's what he did for his career. He moved from interior design, model homes, and so forth into staging. So he's the perfect person. Any last words, Jennifer?
No, I'm excited. I think 2020 is going to be a fantastic year for everybody. I'm just so excited, and don't wait to buy wholesale. I'm telling you, you're getting ready to go into your busy season. Just bite the bullet. Do it now. You've got the whole year to see how that worked out for you, because you don't want to do it later in the year when you're going to be winding down. So if you're thinking about it, just bite the bullet and do it. That's what I got to say, because you're going to save a lot of money. It'll be worth it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being with us, and we're looking forward to our group to see you in Vegas and enjoy Atlanta.
Thank you. Again, appreciate it. Good luck with the new year, and wish everybody well. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks, Jennifer.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, Lauren, you ready? So I'm bringing Lauren on. Lauren. Hey, honey. So Lauren, tell everybody who you are.
Hi. Okay. Well, I'm Lauren Norris. I'm a social media manager for Stage Homes and for some other small businesses. A home stager for Sensational Home Staging, and also learning to become a photographer as well.
And you also do social media for IHOSP. And so talk about just really, really briefly, your education background. Why are you qualified?
So I graduated from Colorado State University in 2016. My major and degree is in communications and journalism, with a specialty in social media and photography and all that.
Awesome. So what I wanted to talk about with, I wanted Lauren to come on because social media, I think in any survey that we've been sending out, whether it's for the lead, your market workshops, or even after our conference, what do you, new topics or things you want to hear about for 2020, social media always comes up. And as easy as it seems to do, because it's free, most of it's free, most people still struggle with where do I need to be? And furthermore, they keep changing, the platforms keep changing their algorithms and how you have to post. And like YouTube just came out now with any video has to, if it's not kid friendly, you have to do something. And so they're advancing and changing. Sometimes it's regulatory issues or safety. Sometimes it's just, I don't know, what they decide how to mix things up. So Facebook, for example, algorithms, how do you know your stuff's even being seen? How does it interface with Instagram? And so We actually have a fast track session that Lauren and I did called is social media, mastering social media. And on that, we actually talk about the 5 or 6 different platforms: Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. There was another one. And we talked about, who's on at what time, what age groups typically use these different platforms. And as a business owner, where do we need to be? So kind of share a little bit about, like, from your perspective, honey, where, as a business, a staging business, what are the 2 or 3 platforms that we just have to be on?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, even from the couple years that we did that fast track, we may need to actually update it a little bit because so much has changed since then. For stagers, especially, I would say the 3 biggest social media platforms to be on would be Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. It's good to be on all of the other platforms as well, just so that way you can have interconnecting social media from one to the next. But those are the top 3 definitely for stagers, just for the people you're aiming to reach, the clients, what they're looking for. Those are more of the visual platforms, since staging is obviously a very visual business. And so, yeah, I would say that those top 3 you definitely need to be on and be as active as possible.
So you said Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest?
Yes.
So Pinterest, let's talk about Pinterest, because that has changed quite a bit in the last year or so as far as their focus. Why has Pinterest become such a big thing?
Well, Pinterest, I mean, is kind of its own entity in a way. There are, like, I know some people, like some influencers who solely grew their Pinterest account separate from all of their other accounts, and they're over 10 million followers at the moment. And so Pinterest is one of those social media profiles or entities that is able to not only promote your own things, but you're able to then link your other profiles, blog, videos, whatever you want, onto Pinterest as well, and it will continue to help gain you followers. And then also Pinterest has its own type of community within it. Also, I'm kind of like Instagram and Facebook combined, but the people who are on Instagram or on Pinterest usually will also band together and kind of share each other's links or articles, pictures, whatever it may be, in order to promote themselves and yourself. Yeah.
So I'll use myself as an example. So I have a Pinterest account, and first I was like, how do I even pin something?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a bunch of different boards. And so as a business owner, I'm like, what should I name the board? My company name? Should it be the service I offer? Number 1. Number 2, how often should I be putting things in there? And do I care about all the other boards that I have? Like I have like vacations you'd want to go to, or something about a dog, or but for my company, I have my sensational home staging. We obviously have Staged Homes, IAHSP. So talk about what people need to be doing.
Okay, so that all kind of comes down to what the brand is of either your company or yourself. There are some companies that will have 2 separate Pinterest, or not even Pinterest, but social media profiles in general. They'll have one for their personal life and like their personal page, and then they'll have a business one. So it kind of depends on what your preference is. There are benefits and disadvantages to both sides. But if you are one that has a separate Pinterest or like separate profiles for each, on your business side, name it your business profile, because that's what people are going to be looking for. You don't want it to be super cluttered or anything, like having a board for necessarily like every single house or anything like that. But what I would is have categories. So you could have vacants, there'd be preview, or vacants, occupies, trying to think, flippers, realtors, like there's so many. You want to have more bigger categories that are actually your actual boards, and then within your boards, then that's when you can be more specific. And along with that, you can not only add in stuff from Pinterest, but you can add stuff from your blog, you can add stuff from Facebook, you can add a clip or a still frame from YouTube or from Instagram. So Pinterest is kind of one of those that allows a very broader reach than normal, which is nice.
I think we should probably do sort of a tutorial on this coming up. I think it'd be good to kind of do a webinar tutorial with you. So I just wanted my Pinterest thing. I don't know how to set the dumb thing up, to be honest. I mean, I post things there, but you said like I have my company account, but then I post things on there, but they're just pictures. Those aren't boards. So I thought the boards were all the different little topic things under, and I don't know if they're all under one umbrella. So I don't even know if I set it up right, quite honestly. And so
You're talking
when
about.
I did understand that Pinterest has been growing and they've been incorporating a lot more. It's not just like posting pictures. You can do videos. You can actually interface your other profiles with it. So instead of, if they hadn't done that, they would have died off, I believe. I think that if they hadn't found another way to become viable and visible and incorporate all of that, they wouldn't be here, and they'd be kind of like Snapchat. You hardly hear about them anymore as far as any kind of a social media thing. So Facebook, of course, is important, and we're going to have one of our speakers. My chair is falling apart here. The screw just came out of the arm. It's on the floor. One of the speakers is going to be strictly all about social media and your where you need to be and why, and not just what you need to do, but how to do it. So it's going to be very, very detailed. So because I want at our conference people to walk away with, Amy, I'm going to steal your saying. So it's not to-do items, it's done items. So it's not your to-do list, it's your done list. Because I feel like a lot of times we might attend an event and there's a lot of really great ideas that are thrown out. We write them down and then there's no implementation information given, really. It's like, this is a great app to use. Well, tell me why it's a great app to use, and then how to use it. Why is it important? How do I use it specifically for my business? How can I use this thing? And why is it something I absolutely need to have incorporated? So like I showed you the Google Calendar. I showed you mine. I didn't show you how to, tap on it and build. I'm like, okay, my arm just fell off. Not my arm of the chair. It just fell on the floor. Okay, sorry. That was a big noise. My elbow hurts. So anyhow, it's, but that could be something that be taught. You tap on it, you schedule it, you can actually invite other people. So that could be tutorial. So I think that would be useful. And I think things like Snapchat, I don't really think it's viable for business because it's more just, unless you just want to put silly pictures or something up of yourself with a Snapchat filter. I'm sure there's probably a way to do that, but you have to think about who's on which platform. So Kate the Socialite is one of our vendors, and she's going to be our guest on our IAHSP membership call on the 20th. And so she does social media. So I said, give me some marketing tips for home stagers. So I'm going to read these, and then Lauren, you can also give me your feedback. Know who your ideal client is. And then she put in parentheses, really. She says, many home stagers tend to think their ideal client is any living, breathing listing agent, builder, or investor, and the occasional homeowner seller. But marketing to everyone ultimately means you're marketing to no one, which is true because it's all watered down. Regardless of your ideal client's profession, figure out what makes them want to sell their home. Are they providing for a family? Do they dream of building a real estate empire? Are they homeowners who want to prep their home for sale, for a solid sale? Pick one type of client and hone in on their fears, needs, and dreams. Craft your marketing around this, from what you say in social media captions to the tips you offer in your email newsletters, which are critical for funneling leads to your staging business. So what does that mean? And when you're trying to identify your ideal client, and she's right, if you market to everybody, you're marketing to no one.
That's so funny. Actually, for notes, I wrote that down. Same sentence. So, So wanting to find your ideal client is basically, I don't know. I mean, I would say it's one of the number one, if not the number one thing that you have to do as a business owner. And it's not necessarily, I mean, she went pretty niche, like really specific. You can go that specific if you really want to, but if you find that's too difficult, you could even be as specific as, I want to work with, a flipper that does this many houses per year in these kind of areas, or, something to that extent, or I want to work with people who like this type of house or something like that. But when you figure out your ideal client, you can then start constructing your social media, exactly what she said, like your blog posts, what your captions, what you do in your stories, how you phrase things, anything like that will be more appealing to them. And that will in turn obviously bring them back, bring them to you as a client. I would also add on that when you're figuring out your ideal client, you also have to realize that you may be working with some people who aren't necessarily your ideal clients. And when you start kind of putting out this new way of reaching out to those people, they might decide that you're not the person they want to work with, or you might decide that that's not the person you want to work with. And that's totally fine. I wouldn't say to be afraid or distance yourself from that feeling. I would embrace it, and then just know the ideal client will eventually find you. Even if it takes, a week or whatever it may be, they are going to eventually find you. And once that happens, they're going to tell more people who relate to them and maybe more of your ideal clients. And so, yeah, narrowing that down and figuring out who you really want to work with is absolutely key in having a successful business.
Well, it's also so that the person that's going to speak on social media at the conference is a man, and we were talking about hashtags and even something like I told him, I said, when I hashtag things, but I mean, where do they go? What are they used for? It's on Facebook. Search. I don't search by hashtag.
Yeah, there's some
Brought
people.
up something that was interesting. He said that my generation, if I go to Google, I type in, if I'm looking, he used an example of a car. So if I'm looking for like we're trying to get Lauren a car. So if I look for red Ford Explorer, something like that, I'm going to Google red Ford Explorer for sale, Denver. Those are what I'm going to put in there. Somebody her age group or younger might put the hashtags in. Hashtag red Ford. And so the hashtag actually will get you a more accurate list of results than doing it the old school way. And it's just how their mind works. And so understanding even why you are hashtagging and where do they even go? What are they for? And of course I was putting like 30 hashtags. And he goes, no, only do 6 because otherwise you piss off the algorithm. So like, how do I limit myself to 6? Well, then that kind of speaks to this more laser focused audience. So you might put a picture up, and let's say your goal is to reach investors. You also want to reach real estate agents or builders. So you might post 3 different things, and then you change the hashtags because and put the right keywords and so forth in. But you change it so you're not just a whitewash of every hashtag out there, which we were told to do like 2 or 3 years ago. Get them all in there, and now they limit. So how many hashtags can you have on Instagram?
Well, you can still have up to 30 hashtags on Instagram. It again kind of it depends on who you're trying to reach. And then there are people who will even just put hashtags in the comments, and that's a big tip that I was actually going to mention, because that doesn't necessarily throw off the algorithm. I would put maybe between like 6 and 10 of your main your main hashtags on your caption, and then you can go in your comments and even just wait a couple comments if you want. So it's not like super obvious, but go in there and put the rest of the hashtags that you want to use. Along with the hashtags, it's better to be as unique as possible rather than to be generic, just because since hashtags have been around for so long, it's basically, like if you put in Google and you type in car and 1,000 things pop up, that's basically what's going to happen if you put in just typical like home stager is obviously one that's still growing, but if you put in a more generic hashtag, you're going to be put in with the flood of people who are also using that hashtag. So it's better to be as specific as possible, like Denver home stager or occupied staging, or just trying to get you can even create your own unique hashtags. So something like sensational home staging, or like what we've done for IAHSP and for staged homes, like they're their own special hashtags. And when people are looking specifically for that, it'll pop up not only all of the work that you've put on, but anyone that's also using the hashtag or tags you in something as well. So it's just a better way to reach your audience and also your ideal client of whoever that's going to be.
And so when I was interviewing this guy to find out if we wanted to have him come, and of course he's going to be amazing, I talked about, let's use the word real estate or even home staging, the word. So do I do hashtag real estate all mashed together, no space in between the L and the E, real estate, hashtag real estate, hashtag home staging, no space in between. And will people find, if they put in home and staging, will they find that? Because it's, what I'm saying? Like what hashtag? Because you can put the words together. And he actually said that the hashtagging phrases is going to become more popular.
Yeah, because again, it's more unique. It's not just a single word or anything, so it's more specific for if someone's looking for, someone who said that phrase or a book or a specific type of home staging. Like I know I've used it for looking at photography or, kind of like traveling, that type of stuff. So it's definitely beneficial, and it also all goes back to who your ideal client is going to be. Because again, people who are like my generation and older are going to be more active, more on like Facebook, whereas my generation and younger obviously is going to be more on Instagram and like the newer apps that are coming out. So it all really goes back or ties back to who you want your ideal client to be. Are you reaching that younger generation to try to like bring in more interest? Are you trying to reach, the people that you've been working with for however many years? So it's all about, it's good to be on those platforms, but just know where your main focus should be in order to reach those ideal clients.
Okay, so then the next tip was change your marketing mindset. Your marketing should be more about your ideal client than about you. So the benefits to them, it's always with them. We know that what's in it for me. So really clear your message. It could be, like if you show a really fabulous picture of your staging, you can say, we just completed the stage and, look how great we are, whatever. Nobody really cares about that. But how can you turn that message around to say, we can do this for you too? Or, the outcome was X, share the results, and then something that's beneficial to the client. Um, let's see, create a personal connection and a level of trust. Share your face and stories on social media once per week.
Yep.
Take the third person verbiage off your, okay, so take the third person verbiage off your website, from your bio to your service page and everything in between. So it's interesting because a lot of people, they feel like I don't want I, me. You're talking about yourself. So you have your, Jenny Norris is a, stager serving the Denver area. So you could have the third party, but instead it says I am, then that way you're speaking directly to the person.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and that's so yeah, that's something that is becoming kind of a new trend almost. Like even I don't know, I would say like even a few years ago with Instagram, it was the cool thing to do where you just put a trendy line or a couple emojis or whatever, and that was like your caption. Now it's becoming more of a thing to be more personal, to put more like of yourself into what you're promoting, or even just like yourself out there. Like once a week is great on stories, and that's what you're comfortable with, go for it. But I almost would say it's better to be once a day, just because you want to be as consistent as possible. You want people to know who you are, that you're the face of your business, like what your brand is about, what you're about, and it's also just a way for them to get to know who you are behind the business itself. So like you're going to create more of a connection with your clients if they know what you like to do on a weekend, rather than you just posting like, this is my last, this is a house, this is someone I worked with, and you got to kind of and keep it more interesting. And there's also like a big kind of movement where it's you're encouraged to not push your product so much, but to promote your purpose. And so rather than promoting yourself obviously you can say I've staged this house or whatever, but yeah, kind of like how you were saying, to put it in a way that engages people more, rather than just being like, this is what I can do, hire me. You can say like, this is a person I worked with, this is the background of the house, this is how we, I don't know, just kind of go more into the personal process of the staging itself. And then through that, you'll also be getting people who are like, wow, I really like how she works, or I like how this guy does this, or something like that. So it'll in turn create more people like reaching out to you to work with you.
And I love that. Promote your purpose, not your product. So just change the messaging. That's really important. Okay, so let's see here. Don't feel like you need to use every social media platform. Use only the social media platforms that your ideal clients are using. If you don't know which platforms they're on, do your homework. So, and Lauren just kind of gave some feedback on that too. We have to be where they are. So when we're targeting a Gen Xer or a Boomer, Facebook, predominantly on Facebook.
Facebook ads. Sure.
Facebook and what?
Facebook ads as well. Like that's a big thing with just those, like if you're mainly on Facebook ads is actually a very big tool that people should be using to reach, because on there you can put in your ideal client, like your demographics and everything. So it's a better way to reach those specific people.
Right. So, and then the millennials, Instagram, Pinterest. So there's, and, we can talk about TikTok and, Boomerang, there's different video things. The fact is all of us watching, you can't avoid video. A lot of us for many years, we don't like how we look. Your hair doesn't look good. Like I look like this because I knew I was doing my show, and probably the number one reason people don't go on do videos and so forth, they think like, oh, I don't look attractive, or my hair looks ugly, or I look fat today, or whatever it is. We cut ourselves down instead of realizing most people aren't even looking at us that way. They just want to hear the content. So if you're in a house, you're out and about. I mean, one of my biggest challenges, I don't have a nice background, and so I've got this folding screen because this thing looks down into the loft, and most people, when they're doing the shows, they've got this nice office with artwork. So the warehouse actually will have a nice background. So I'll probably start doing things from there. But just when you're out and about, do your little snippets. You can do your Facebook stories, your Instagram stories, and then the Instagram TV, it's at 15 minutes minimum. What's the minimum time?
The maximum time is 10 minutes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. 10 minutes.
What's the minimum? 1 minute?
There's no minimum on Instagram. I think about 30 seconds maybe, but video is definitely becoming more, it's basically becoming over photo in that way. And a lot of people, like what you said, like if they do feel uncomfortable or whatever, putting themselves out there, you're only going to feel that way for the first couple of times. And it'll be one of those things that's kind of not like easy to get over, but the more that you do it, yeah, the easier that it's going to be. And then there are those people who will end up tuning into you or seeing that story of, you might just be like rolling out of bed or dealing with your kids or in the warehouse, sweaty or whatever, and they'll want to see what's going on because that'll
Right.
make you more interesting.
And real.
And yeah, even and what's great with Instagram, I'm not sure. I think you can do it on Facebook Stories as well, but you can record on a normal video, like on your phone, and upload it later. So it doesn't have to be something that you do right then and there, especially if you're dealing with a client or an important staging or something is happening that needs your attention. So you can always take 15-second clips and then upload them onto your Instagram or Facebook or wherever later in the day. And still, you make sure to add like geotagging, and you could do hashtags on stories. And it's also important to add text on any stories that you do, because there are those people that don't necessarily turn up the volume. And so you're alienating them if you don't have some sort of text, just a general, snippet of
Right.
whatever you're talking about.
You can put the texting, especially if they're, surfing around at work and they have their audio on.
Yeah.
So once you've determined the social media platforms your client is using, commit to posting 3 times a week. However, don't just share photos of pretty spaces or of your morning coffee or a happy some obscure holiday. And for the love of all things marketing, do not post about a sale, a promotion, or a free consult you're offering that will attract bargain hunters rather than the people who value your expertise. So whether you're posting on Facebook, Instagram, or letting your post carry over to both, follow this pattern for your social posting. So here on Mondays, share a photo of your work. In the caption, explain how and why you staged the space this particular way. And of course, so I'm going to preface and go back for a second. The companies that IHOPS and stuff, we are sharing promotions. We do attract people that are looking for specific pricing. So a company, if you have sales and specials, it's okay to do that. We're talking specifically like for your staging business to find your ideal client and attract your ideal client. On Wednesdays, share a staging tip. If you're not sure what to say, think of the questions you're most often asked or address a common assumption that your ideal client might make about the staging industry, like it's too expensive or, I don't need to do that because the market's hot, one of those things. Yeah. On Fridays, share your most valuable asset of all, your face. This doesn't need to be a selfie, and I hope it won't be a stiff headshot of you in the traditional realtor pose. I hate them like this, or they have their phone. You see those?
Super
easy. So just a natural picture, like a real picture of you. Let's see. In the caption, share a personal story. So here for the caption prompts to get you started. The first time I realized home staging actually does help realtors make more money, I was ... You might be used to seeing pretty photos of staged spaces, but let me tell you what it's like behind the scenes of a staging project. Yeah, the story. I used to doubt my abilities. I didn't always believe in myself, but here's what helped me. And so that would be you on video or a headshot or personal picture of yourself. And then you can get personal. Just keep things positive and uplifting. So nobody wants to feel like you're doing an emotional dump on them. At the end of every caption you post on social media, tell your fans what to do next. This is always referred to as a call to action, CTA. And so I think there's a ton of marketing. People forget to put the call to action or some sort of an identifier where you know where the lead came from. So call to action. You can click here for, let's see here. Want to help your real estate business? Click the link in my bio for Instagram, etc. Want to make sure your house sale puts money back in your bank account? Go to your website to book a call with me. Make your spec house feel like the home to the right buyer. Go here to browse our home staging packages built specifically for developers or builders.
Yeah.
Direct them instead to the link in your bio if you're posting on Instagram. So you want to definitely have a call to action. What's the next step? How do they reach you?
Yeah.
And then I like it that she kind of parceled out the different services. So like on your websites, do you have information specific for, like we have realtors, sellers, builders, investors, seniors. We have niche specific marketing content so I can direct people to that page or at least that content on our site.
Yeah. Well, and then also, well, I just want to direct one of the things that she had said, or that person. So it's also good to be vulnerable with your the people you're trying to reach out to, like sharing like a struggle that you had. Obviously, you don't want to be like a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but if you share something that's more of a struggle, it's always important to bring it around to like a lesson that you've learned because of it. So you could start, obviously, like not everyone's lives is all, cherries and bubblegum or whatever. And so when you do experience a struggle or something happens that you feel could be beneficial to another person or someone else has gone through it, then yeah, it's totally fine to post about it, to write a blog, whatever it is. But yeah, just always make sure it comes around to a lesson that you've learned or ends in like a positive way as well. But
Right.
yeah, just being as real as possible.
I
I
love
think
that
is very
because
important.
and I share that at our conferences, a lot of us are, you don't see a lot of you have the good, the bad, the ugly. We see a lot of the good. A lot of people are afraid to share the bad or the ugly piece of the business. The fact is we all go through struggles, and anybody who says they don't is lying, because we all have challenges. And it's, the lesson learned within. Some people might be going through it right now, and you're thinking like, what lesson am I going to learn in this situation? When you come out the other side, you have perspective, and you
Yeah.
can look at it and say, why did I have to experience that challenge? How can I make things better? What did I learn through that? Because they all, challenges make us stronger. They build character, as they say. And I got a lot of character, I guess.
Exactly.
And the last was stop trying stuff in your marketing. Like, I wonder if this is going to work. I wonder if that's going to work. And instead have a focus, have a sales funnel that's proven and profitable. In your marketing, you're likely pretty fed up with marketing ideas that don't seem right for your business. Plus, you might feel you have no idea what you're doing and that you're at the mercy of someone else's next big marketing hack. So to get everything you need for home staging sales funnel, and she put her, please go here. And I have to print it off and the font is super tiny. Social, and I said, I know it's a vault. I'm sorry, Kate. I can't read this. I even have my glasses on. Look at the lighting here because I want to make sure we do that. She's one of our vendors, so she's on our site, but I just want to make sure I get this right here. Socialitevault.com. I should know that because that's her name. Socialitevault.com. So she is one of our preferred vendors, and she does do newsletters and social media and blogging and so forth for people who don't have time. The prices are very reasonable. She will be our guest on our call. And to talk about the importance of social media and having a plan for the year. There are entities that actually have the whole marketing social media schedule built out for the year. So I subscribe to one of those. I'm going to see what it's like, and then be able to kind of share some of that, because the whole thing is automation. Like Amy Powers posted, she has all of her stuff done for January, and so there's a lot of these things you can automate things on Facebook. You can schedule things through a blog, and so none of us have time to go necessarily in every single day to post things and to think about the marketing. So have the strategy and be proactive versus what I call, reactive thing, like, oh my God, it's New Year's, I don't have a campaign for New Year's. And we don't want to, that's just as stressful. So my mantra for 2020 is to be smooth, profitable, successful, and plan things out. So we're not running around with our hair on fire, realizing we forgot to do something that's important, that generates revenue. Because the bottom line is that's what it's all about, is how can we generate revenue for our companies, for ourselves, and stay in business. And then obviously serve our clients and help them. That's all part of it. So any last words, Lolo?
I think we pretty much covered it. Yeah, the last kind of things, content calendars, which is what you were just kind of going over, will save you so much time in the long run. And whether that's you coming up with it or someone on your team, it'll also make it easier and less scary for when you do want to post or take a video of yourself or whatever. So having the content calendar, it allows you to see your month or week in advance, whatever it is, and you can have those 3 times a week of like your staging, and then maybe throw in a couple personal things just to keep it interesting, or what's going on for the week with you. And then I would say, the last thing, having everything connected is really important. So having like what you were kind of going over, where it was saying like, click the link in my bio to sign up for this, or so you can have something on your Facebook that connects to Pinterest, and Pinterest goes to your blog, and your blog goes to YouTube, and then Instagram is somewhere in there as well. And so kind of just, as long as everything is cycling back to one another, you'll always have people looking at some sort of, or one of your profiles, and keeping interest in you. So that's always I'd say that'd be my last little tidbit.
That's great. And then my last tip would be, while you're out and about doing your staging, you have your smartphone. You can take videos on your smartphone, not necessarily yourself. You could be like talking, here I'm at the staging project, hey, check out what we're doing, and then you flip it around and you film. And then I put my I can do fast mode, so it's fast motion, videos,
Time-lapse.
unloading the truck or doing different things. And I save those videos and think like, I don't know how I'm going to use that, but I have the footage. So then you can build that into a marketing example, or have it on your website of showing a room coming together. You can have this going, and you can even, if you have a tripod or even just put your phone somewhere in a house, it can show in fast motion. It can show things going. I don't know how long it records, up to how many minutes. You probably have to go check it. But that way you'd have footage you can use, because I think one of the most interesting things that we offer, of course, because we're a visual business, is the evolution of a project from beginning to end. So we always do like the end thing, but I like to see the beginning too. But just have your thing going, because you can always delete it. You don't want to use the footage, you can just delete it. It's not like it's live.
Yeah.
So that's
well, and there are apps too that are out there that once you have that footage, you can upload into the app and create like a video montage, or string multiple clips together, or add text to it or music behind it. So yeah, there's so much coming out now with your phones. It's just a lot easier to do, and yeah, just getting more of the behind the scenes stuff where you're not necessarily looking at the camera, or so that way you can also be in the video too, where if you have it, you're a tripod, or have someone else film it, or just have it set up on a table or something and you're walking around like on time lapse or whatever. But yeah, just try to get yourself out there as much as possible and be as personable and attracting your ideal client.
Great. Well, thank you for being on, honey.
Of course, Mom.
And I always appreciate, and we'll redo some of the segments. I also want to do, so we want to do something on Pinterest, and then kind of we'll do an update of the social media marketing thing. So I'll talk about that. Yeah. So anybody else who's watching now or in the future, thanks for tuning in. We'll have another show next week. Set your goals, and we'll do some follow-up links on this session as far as where to find socialitevault.com, and also some of the other things that we were sharing for you, so you'll have them as resources. Again, this will be up on our YouTube channel. It'll be on our website, homestagingtalk.com. You can find all of the segments. This is segment number 72, if you can believe it. And so all of the past segments are there, all really great interviews and information. Whether you glean one idea from them, it's there to help all of us. So until next week, we say goodbye. Thanks, Lauren, for being on.
No problem, Mom. Happy to.
All right, everybody. And Happy New Year, everybody. And we will be with you next week. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.